Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're looking at the beginning of a brand new series from Marvel called Marvel Rising, Initiation, and Secret Warriors.
Initiation shows teen heroes Miss Marvel and Squirrel attempting to capture the framed Ghost Spider for a crime she didn't commit, while Secret Warriors is a full-length movie in which Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, Quake, Patriot, America, Chavez, and Inferno join forces as unlikely but formidable team to rescue captured Inhumans.
And we first saw Initiation on, I think, Disney XD.
Yes.
Which was sort of like the pilot for the movie, which is a pilot for another pilot, which is a pilot for another new show.
And for some reason they chose to break it up like they did Vixen online.
Yes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 episodes each to tell a 20-minute story. It's like, why didn't you just air the whole thing at once? You did that with the second one called Chasing Ghosts. You did it with that. Why didn't you do it with the first one?
So this actually turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Sorry, people, but it was. It ended up being more fun as far as the dialogue. Some interesting characters that I didn't know, like Squirrel Girl.
Right.
And the movie pretty much nicely wrapped up the I guess you could say the series that we saw, the mini series.
There's something. It's supposed to be more to this coming because like I said, they have the Chasing Ghosts one, yeah.
Because the way it ended.
And then it's supposed to introduce one more hero to there because the movie and the entire Marvel Rising series supposed to feature lesser known heroes like the Ms. Marvel, Squirrel Girl, Inferno, Lockjaw, so they will get some spotlight and get a fan base, which is a good idea still, regardless of your opinion on the movie or that series. It's still a good idea that they've finally are going to get some different heroes and spotlight, since you've seen the Avengers and Black Panther and Doctor Strange. You've seen all these heroes a million times over, so you get to see some new people that they could possibly bring into the MCU.
Yes, and you had some old friends like D. Bradley Baker, Roger Craig Smith, Ming Na Wen, I'm sorry, and some new favorites who you might have from here. Oh, I'm sorry, and Boo Boo Stewart, and some new favorites that you're not more familiar with, but you actually like them in the voices of the characters.
Right. And the story itself, for the Initiation, it was only 20 minutes, but basically what it was is follows Gwen Stacy, or was Spider Gwen, or Ghost Spider, or something, whatever she's supposed to be called this time, because she's got too many different names. They're at a crime scene. Her best friend was killed by a villain, and she was trying to stop her, but when she gets out, the police seem to think that she's the one that did it. So now whenever she's out, the police are after her, and the father is intent on catching her, and he doesn't know that that's his daughter.
I'm so confused as how this man cannot know when this girl talks that this is his own kid. Plot hole.
Right. I don't know. It seems to only do that trope when it's the mother. So I don't know what they're saying there, but I don't think it's true, Disney. But yeah, Squirrel Girl and Ms. Marvel end up fighting her, and they try to catch her, which goes on so long. That's why it feels like longer than 20 minutes. And she gives a story of what happened, and she tells them that she was framed, which takes a lot of convincing, because it seems like nobody is quick to believe a framing story anymore, despite it happening a lot. And if you are an anime watcher, you might realize by watching the Initiation special, it sounds an awful familiar to Tiger and Bunny's plot.
And even the city in the first and second episodes, the 5 minutes, looks like the city in Tiger and Bunny.
They seem to have borrowed the framed arc from them. Now, we do know this has been done in other superhero shows and other movies, but the way it has been set up has been done eerily similar to it. The only difference is that they didn't know her anyway. That's almost the entire difference. But they do end up believing her that she did not do it, and they let her go. Which brings us to the Secret Warriors movie. Now, Spider-Gwen's not in this movie, but they introduce a lot of other heroes that will become this team of Secret Warriors.
Well, I think that it was interesting how it seems like the characters were quartered off, I want to say. Yeah, they were in their own quatrains. Like you had Patriot, who was just really extreme.
Yeah.
And then also extreme was the one who was the leader who believed her.
Let's see. I think her name was Quake.
Yes,
was the
Quake,
girl. Yeah.
Exactly. Then you had Miss Marvel and you had Squirrel Girl, who had the really bubbly, friendly personalities, willing to want to see the best, willing to try to work and negotiate and talk to people. So you had them in another quadrant. That's what I was thinking of saying.
Right.
Then you had, of course, Spider-Gwen, whatever.
Gwen something, yeah. She wasn't even in the movie. But you, like I said, it leads into that. She's not in the movie, but she's in the previous special and the next special. So go figure.
Right. And then she was like in her own little quadrant by herself. And then you had the dog. What was the dog's name?
Lockjaw.
Right.
Who is a well-known member for Inhumans, but they decided to make them with the teenager instead of the entire planet.
And America Chavez, who were more, I would say more...
I don't want to say tougher.
Yes, they were tougher, stronger, more resilient, more determined to go out and make something happen and not wait.
Right.
They were more proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you had all these characters who fit neatly into these little quadrants that have been made by Disney.
Right. And then you had Inferno, who was pretty much on the run. And they thought he was the bad guy at first. And you realize, oh no, the good-looking guy is actually the bad guy. Oh, we didn't see that coming because you always make like the good-looking ones bad guys because you keep saying that. Like, okay, don't trust pretty people then. But still, as for the story itself, there were a few places where it kind of dragged. You gotta have the moments where the characters had to have realizations. They had the parts where some of them were kidnapped or they were separated and forming the team. Then you have parts where they had to have the backstories. So while it was a good concept, and for the most part, they did a good job presenting it, it kind of dragged in some places to slow down significantly to focus on a character when you only had 80 minutes and you had a whole plot to go. Not like you had multiple episodes for a season. You're like, okay, you're on a time limit. I can't hear your whole backstory in like 5 minutes. You gotta go and save this person. You gotta go and do this. These people's lives are at stake. Can you please hurry up?
Right. So I would say, based on what we've seen, based on what we've learned about the characters, before we get to the movie itself, who became your favorite character in this cast?
I don't know. It's really hard to tell because everyone is an extreme of something to some degree. So unfortunately, this is one of the few times I gotta say I do not have a favorite.
Mine became Miss Marvel.
Okay, awesome, and you get to see some of her backstory.
And she wasn't the most serious,
right?
Believe it or not. It wasn't Patriot.
Right,
Patriot got a little irritating.
Yeah, because he was too overseas. I guess he was supposed to be the Boy Scout because he was Captain America's protege, but it wasn't the endearing type of Boy Scout. It was more like, okay, can you shut the heck up, kind of Boy Scout.
And let's not forget, we had a version of Captain Marvel in here.
Yes,
that got us a little acclimated to the movie that
will be coming. Yeah, right. So it was kind of linked to all of that in terms of bringing more non as well-known heroes to the big screen or for animation, so you get to see more of all these characters. Because the first time they tried to do Inhumans as a TV series, as live action on ABC, it did not do well at all. And because of the tone it took, and it was way too harsh on what was supposed to be a civilization that was supposed to be equality, when they treated their own people just as they don't want to be treated by humans. So it was really weird. But for this one, they kind of made it obviously clear they wanted Inhumans to be just as important as the regular humans. Thing was, they kind of went overboard a few times because, like, okay, we get it. Okay, I get the message. But they were starting to really hammer it in. It's like, we get it. We get it from both the heroes and the villains. We get it. Inhumans need to be treated better. And it was starting to get a little irritating. It's like, okay, can we move on to another lesson now? I'm starting not to want the Inhumans now. It's like, you shut up.
So, let's say what the movie did that the 5-minute blocks of series didn't do.
Right. Well, since it was 80 minutes, we got treated to some more music sung by Dove Cameron, who was a voice in here, actually. Yeah, in Descendants movies.
The purple-haired girl.
Right. Right.
Cat.
Right. And Dove Cameron was the voice of Ghost Spider, so while she didn't have a character role in the movie, she still had a musical role. And the music was kind of interesting. I'll say that. It was an interesting choice, considering that you're more focused on the fight scenes. I guess it was meant to get you pumped up and energetic about the fight scenes rather than just the action and epic music you hear in the MCU movies. They managed to have a lot of diversity in here that wasn't forced like the comics were doing originally. And it's supposed to be introducing Riri Williams, who was, I guess, the female Iron Man, or there's another name for her, I'm not sure. She's supposed to be introduced in here at some point, I guess, in the next special they're supposed to have.
Awesome.
They have a lot of terms of diversity of everyone being multicultural, different ages.
And a very large female cast.
Yes. And they had shown to have a portion of representation with America Chavez and her two mothers on her home planet that was destroyed.
Which we also saw done, and I know this has nothing to do with this, but when you brought that up, which was also done in The Dragon Prince.
Yes, and it was very, very brief, and it's like, okay, so now we know about that character and the parents, so at least we know now, and then most likely they'll have more representation as the show goes on, whether it's with America Chavez, will just be with everybody, everywhere. So, that's a great thing for Marvel to be doing with this show and with the movie, to start a whole line of these and to get audiences familiar with all these other heroes that get some spotlight.
Right, definitely. So, if you've seen Marvel Rising, Secret Warriors, the miniseries or the movie, let us know in the comments below. Who was your favorite character? And are you looking forward to seeing more of this story?
Right. And be on the lookout for the next Marvel Rising special we'll have with Riri Williams. But we're still waiting for that. The last one they had, they didn't even tell us was on. We had to find out 2 or 3 months later.
Right.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ask Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights. Trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? My man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket.